Okay, we'll continue with Tennessee players. We have Arion here, and he is ready to go to questions. Do we have something for him? Okay, left side on the end.
Hey, Arion, how are you? AP Stedham of AP as we see it. This Tennessee edition of their defense, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, we have a whole new bunch of guys to add to our repertoire. I feel like that bring assets in different ways. I feel like you have a guy like Colton Hood who brings a lot of speed, a lot of quick decisiveness and run pass. I feel like who's very good in run pass defense. And you bring guys in at corner and a lot of our young DBs who are willing to learn, who come to work every day, that have the right mentality, who came and adopted our culture, and who are fitting in very, very well.
We'll go here on the aisle.
Arion, Scotty Rogers with Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. What have you guys been doing in the offseason to make that next step and get into that conversation, not only conversation, but that opportunity to play for an SEC championship? It always has to be something that you have to do differently to make that next step. What has the team been doing in the offseason to get themselves ready for that?
Yes, sir. I feel like we've just approached the offseason with a different level of preparation. We realized that we belong here, playing at a championship level in the SEC, and just as a whole. And I feel like we just needed to set ourselves apart by working very intentionally through our preparation and our work habits to set ourselves apart from everybody else in the SEC and our conference and in the league.
What are the most pleasing aspects to last season, and how much of that do you have to put in the past to get ready for the future?
A lot of pleasing aspects is seeing the growth that we made as a team. I feel like we had a lot of young guys step up last year offensively and defensively that are ready to take on leadership roles this year. And I feel like there's guys defensively who have already been in leadership roles, including myself, that were able to expand upon their leadership roles and be able to take it to a whole nother level, bringing our new guys in and our newcomers in to go and compete at a championship level.
Left side.
Alex Byington on three. Just given everything that happened in the spring and with Nico, how different and how, for lack of a better term, weird was this offseason, especially coming off a playoff, trip? I mean,
having a guy like that leave with such character and such poise was a hard thing to do, but nobody's bigger the program, and we wish him the best where he's at, and I hope he has a great career and goes on to do great things. And I really feel like it didn't waver from the agenda that we had to step forward and do, especially with the new guys that we haven't set, with the three quarterbacks in our room with George, Jake, and Joey. And I feel like we were able to corral around those guys early and get those guys ready and prepare them over this course of these last few weeks. And these next few weeks going into fall and training camp for this 2026 season, I feel very well where we're standing, but we have a lot to do and a lot to prove still.
Left side on the end.
Arion, when you're playing the linebacker position in this past era, what's the most difficult for you at the linebacker position? I mean, you one of the leaders tackling last year for Tennessee, but what is the most difficult responsibility playing the linebacker position for you?
You are the quarterback of the defense, per se. We are the glue that holds all three phases of the defense together, with tying in the front and having great communication with the back seven. You want to always be able to have a clear, concise communication, and that's something that's hard within this game that offenses have made it hard to do with a lot of fly motion and shifts and trades. But you have to be able to adapt on the run and be able to roll with the punches, and I feel like I've been able to do that very well and be able to make decisive, quick decisions. And I just got to build upon that going into this next season to make sure we have a very great standing for this SEC play and for this 12-game schedule.
In the middle on the fifth row.
Samantha Casano with Local 3 in Chattanooga. We saw glimpses of how dynamic Boo Carter can be last year. What impresses you most about him, and what kind of growth have you seen from him specifically in the offseason?
Yeah, a young guy like that that's so explosive. that's able to be dynamic on all three phases of the game of defense, special teams, and offense. And just being able to have a guy like that that's sort of like a Swiss Army knife, in my opinion, that you can put him all wherever on the field that's a playmaker. It's such a great blessing to have a guy like that that's going to be able to be young, talented, and that's still growing as a player and as a young man that's going to have a great future for us and be able to make big-time plays for us and big-time games for us. And I'm so pleased for where he's headed and growth of our other young guys and young playmakers, and I'm ready for the season.
Left side.
Yes, it seems like over here. It seems like Tennessee has more rivals than probably any other team in the Southeastern Conference: Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Alabama, Georgia, Florida. There's talk about circling games. Do you circle a game or games?
I circle the next game, per se, and that might be cliche to say, but I feel like in this league with such high talent and one of the best conferences in America playing at this level, I feel like you got to be on your P's and Q's at all times going into each game week and each SEC play week, and I feel like it's nothing like it. It's nothing more than the competition. It's nothing like the competition. It's nothing like the excitement. It's nothing like the fans and just the overall level of play that I'm grateful to be a part of and go out there and go do every single day.
Right side, second row.
Ryan Callahan with 24/7 Sports. You touched on him earlier. What do you think about Colton Hood so far, and what stands out most about his game?
Yeah, a guy like Colton, very smart, a guy with experience, him coming from Auburn and coming from Colorado, a guy who's been in big-time games, who's played in the SEC before, and who has game-like experience. It's great to have an addition like him to our secondary, a very young, talented secondary group that he's able to come in and bring his experience and his talent level to expand upon the talent and the knowledge that we have to go out and win ball games for us. I can't wait to go out there and play with him.
Middle section, fourth row.
Billy Derek Vandy, 24/7. You mentioned rivals. Vanderbilt's obviously one of them. Diego Pavia recently said that they're going to run the state of Tennessee. Obviously, as a state of Tennessee kid, did you have a reaction to that?
You know, I don't really pay too much close attention to off-season comments. I feel like that's what we have the season for, and we're going to be prepared when that time comes to go seize the opportunity, and you know, that's what you look forward to the season for.
Middle, on the end, in the back.
You mentioned Joey. I know he came in sort of late in the process this summer. How much interaction have you had? And just as a defensive player, what have you seen from him? Maybe whatever practices or throwing activities that he's been a part of.
Yeah, when he first got here, I made sure as being a leader, one of the leaders on the team, that I wanted to get with him and make sure we had a clear understanding of the expectations set for him, but the expectations he should have for us, and make sure we don't waver from those. And once we got that, you know, all figured out, and being able to sit down with him, and we all had occasional meal with quarterbacks and linebackers and specialty, and just like having a guy like that in your room and having a guy like that in the building is just such a great opportunity that we have. He's such a smart guy, very poised, very calm, collected dude that I wouldn't change anything for the world to have for on my team alongside with my other two young quarterbacks that he's able to go coach up with, George and Jake.
Left side on the end.
Arion, what would be some of the skill set that you would like to tell the Tennessee people about Joey Aguilar? And what do you tell a young linebacker that's going to be part of an SEC defense at Tennessee? What's some advice you give them?
Yeah, just a few things about Joey. Like I say, he's a very great, decisive decision maker. Very good with the ball in his hands, be able to take care of the football. A very good game manager from what I've seen as far as you know, the few practices that we had with him. You know, he's very good at using his legs on the run. I feel like he can make time and create space outside the pocket with his feet to expand throws. And I feel like just him overall as a leader, and the experience that he brings is just once in a lifetime that we're able to have, and I'm grateful to have a guy like that in the room, a older guy to be able to corral the young guys like Jake and George, and just what I would say for a young linebacker going into the SEC is have confidence be prepared and trust what you see and see what you know, and be slow until you go into and make sure that your preparation, your level of preparation is so high that when you're able to go out on game time, out for game time, it's like you played the game 1,000 times before. Just because of your level of preparation, you have so much confidence, you can go out there, play fast, and play free.
Final question here on the right side.
Arion, it seems like we're seeing a lot of SEC rankings and national rankings that don't have you guys ranked all that high for a team that made the college football playoff last year. What do you think of that? Is that something you guys have discussed much internally? You feel like the bar's kind of been lowered a bit too much?
I feel like I don't really pay too much close to rankings. I feel like, that's what we have the season for. I feel like I know what we have in that room, and I know what we have on our 105 team-man roster, and I know what our expectations and what our goals are set to go do. And I know that we have full ability and capability to go out there and achieve the goals that we set.
Arion, thank you very much. Great job.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we'll start off the afternoon session with the Tennessee Volunteers, and Bryson Eason has joined us. Welcome to the podium. Is this like a rite of passage? You can tell the season is right ahead when something like this comes along, this event?
Yes, sir, I can. Just feel so surreal. Very blessed to be in this opportunity. Yep.
How does it feel to be asked? What does it mean to you to be asked to represent your school at this?
Man, it means everything to just know that those guys believe in me to represent them well, and you know what I'm saying, put on for the Power T and put on for the name on the back of my jersey means a lot, and I appreciate them.
Okay, we have a question over here on the right, third row.
Alex Byington on three. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of these this today, but just how has the team kind of come together after Nico left in the spring, and just what's been that transition like?
It's just been, us, just focus on everybody that is in the building, and that's what really only matters at the end of the day. So just focusing on us and building as a team and just taking steps every day to be better as a team and as one. Just hanging with guys outside the building, getting extra work in, watching film together. Just little things to just build piece by piece to be better as a unit and as a team.
What were the overall feelings from last year? What do you take from that season?
I feel like last year was a great experience for me and a lot of my other guys, you know what I'm saying, to just go through the ups and downs of the whole season and how it turned out. Man, it didn't turn out the way we wanted to, but it was just a great opportunity to still be able to go to the college football playoffs and learn from a lot of our mistakes that we made throughout the year.
Another question on the right.
Yeah, kind of along those same lines. What do you know about Aguilar and kind of what's been his interaction with the team and just, coming in? I guess he came in late summer, right?
Mm-hmm. Just trying to step in and be a leader, gain guys' trust around the building to just show he's here for the team no matter what happens, with whatever. And just, be a good guy and be one of those dudes to just be there for the younger guys and help them along as they get through this college journey, start their college journey.
Question on the left, third row.
This is a time of so much change in college sports, talking about changing the SEC schedule, college football playoff seeding. What are conversations between you and your teammates like as you just kind of navigate a constantly changing environment?
You just gotta adjust to, that's like life, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta adjust whatever comes your way. And we just, discuss it or whatnot, but that's really not the main task at hand. So we just like to focus on ball and like getting better in certain aspects.
Another question on the left.
Good afternoon, Bryson. AP Stedham of AP as we see it. Bryson, what did the defense do well last year and you want to continue, and what are some of the things you want to improve on the total defense and for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Some things I feel like the defense did well last year was stop the run and affect the quarterback, with whether that was with a four-man rush or with a blitz. But some things I want to get better at is just, rushing the quarterback, disrupting the quarterback, and just getting to him overall, and just bringing guys together along with me to do the same thing.
When you get questions about Coach Hypo, what do people seem to ask you about?
What kind of person is he and how is he? And in my opinion and perspective of Coach Hype has just been a real genuine dude who really pours into his players and pours into the program and is real, like whatever he says, he's really going to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's not just lip service, and he stands for everything he's talked about since I've been there. And he is doing a great job with the culture inside the building to just turn it around and build a real brotherhood along the team.
Another question on the right.
With regard to Coach Hypo, has this been a different offseason? I mean, you make the playoff for the first time ever, as a program, and then obviously the news this spring. What's the offseason been like? Has it been weird at all?
I wouldn't say it was weird. I'd say it's very not alarming. What's the word I want to use? I would say just kind of random. You know what I'm saying? To lose your main guy after after a season that we had. So, like I said earlier, man, you just got to adjust to everything in life that comes your way. And this is one of those situations where us as a team and as a program have to adjust. And I think we're going to do just fine.
Fourth row on the right.
Johnny Condon, ABC 3340 Sports in Birmingham. It's been since 2001 since Tennessee's gone inside Bryant-Denny Stadium and beaten Alabama. Obviously, the last two times you got them at your place, you came out victorious. What's it going to take to go into Bryant-Denny and win a game in that atmosphere?
It's going to take just everybody on the team to be disciplined and know what you have to do and know your assignment so we can just go out there and play with our hats on fire and just attack those guys the best way we can to come out on top.
Left side on the aisle.
Bryson, you had a chance to reflect on the Ohio State game and traveling up north and that outcome. What did you learn, and then what do you like to tell the younger players you're trying to reach the playoffs again?
Last year was last year, so that's kind of just out the equation. We can't really just keep reflecting on that and comparing whatever we're trying to do now to what we did last year. We have to let that go and move on. Obviously, we didn't get the outcome we wanted, so it's really nothing to just sit there and dwell on, if you know what I mean, because we didn't end up victorious. So just keep moving forward, keep working, and the mission that we have in hand now, let's focus on that.
Is there a particular road SEC opponent and place where you like to play, or a place that has really impressed you?
A place that really impressed me was Alabama. I didn't know that the stadium was that big and had them big 4 screens on each side. I thought that was pretty cool, and it get really loud in there. So Alabama was really impressive to me.
Does Tennessee cigar smoke smell better than an opponent's cigar smoke?
Yes, sir, it does. It's just the smell of the victory. That's what I would call it. That's how I would, yeah, smell of the victory.
Do we have any other questions? We have a good talker here. Quay on the left side.
Bryson, you mentioned something about Joey Aguilar. What do you like to tell people about him, off the field or on the field? Some things.
Off the field, I would say he's a very down-to-earth person, you know what I'm saying? Nothing cocky about him, nothing arrogant about him, just a real down-to-earth human who, is willing to come into a program and help him out. And on the field-wise, I feel like he's a worker. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Comes to work every day, has a mission, ready to get better in every aspect he can, and wants to bring along guys with him, you know what I'm saying? So everybody can elevate and get better. So I feel like overall he's just a great dude.
Tennessee is such a storied and long program. It's produced so many players. Are there any older volunteers you've gotten to know that you've developed friendships with?
Yes, of course. Guys like Matthew Butler, B.Y. Byron Young, a lot of older guys that was in that D-line room who just poured into us when I was, sophomore, freshman, and just, showed us how to go about our business and take care of our business. So a lot of the guys in the D-line room, also in the O-line room as well. I have a Memphis native named Jerome Carvin who, pulled me under his wing when I was on the younger side and just showed me the steps on how to go and how to work and how to get through college ball and how to be productive as well and make an impact on the team.
Okay. Do we have any final questions? Okay, Bryson, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Miles will conclude the Tennessee players on our podium today. He is ready for questions. Would someone like to fire one up? Here we go on the left side.
Good afternoon, Miles. AP Stidham of AP as we see it. Miles, who are some of the tight ends you watched growing up and why?
Yeah, I've touched on this. I would say Gronk. I'm nowhere near his level yet, hopefully. But just like how he took blocking personally, him, and I love George Kittle, in that Netflix series that George Kittle did where he touches on, I focus on blocking and protecting my quarterback and, doing what I need to do up front and in the box, and the rest will take care of itself. So I love that.
You see more fleet tight ends these days as opposed to the big kind of structured guys you saw 10, 20 years ago?
Yeah. There's just a bunch of great athletes out there, and I don't want to say I'm not one of them, but there's just a bunch of great athletes out there that can run and jump really well, and I have to look at myself saying, hey, I may not do those things as well. What can I do to separate myself from them? And I think inside the box is where I try to do that.
What's been the coaching message this year coming into the season? Obviously, last year was very, very successful. You have change every year. What's the message?
Well, there's a word in it that I can't quite say, but we don't need anybody outside of this facility. All that we need, all that we got. If you're strong, I'm strong. Let's go do it.
In the middle, the back row.
Samantha Casano with Local 3 News in Chattanooga. Miles, how difficult or easy is it to build chemistry with a new quarterback, especially in such a unique situation coming in so late?
Yeah, I've touched on this a little bit today. Joey's one of those guys who has a very outgoing personality. He walks into a room and is automatically friends with everybody. Whenever he first committed, I hit him up on Instagram and just said, hey, man, love to have you. Let's go out and get a bite to eat, and let's get to know each other. And, we were just off since then, and we get along super well. He gets along with everybody. Him and Jake and George, they all thrive together. They all compete with each other, and I don't think we could have asked for a better dude.
Right side, third row.
Miles, Ryan Callahan, 24/7 Sports. What do you think of kind of the way you guys are viewed nationally and in the SEC going into this year for a college football playoff team? A lot of the rankings don't have you guys maybe toward the top, maybe because of Nico's departure or whatever. Have you guys talked about that internally much?
No, and I try to stay off social media as much as I can. It's just rat poison, stuff that you don't really need, stuff that you don't need to focus on. So no, I haven't really paid attention to any of that stuff.
I go on the left side, third row.
Miles, I was going to ask you about the Ohio State game. When you reflect on that game, not dwell on it, but you must have learned something from that game moving forward because you're trying to get in the playoffs again. So what did you learn from that experience?
I think when you look back at that game, you can say whatever you want about it. It's 21-10 at halftime. We have the ball coming out of half. If we go score, it's 21-17. It's a ball game. And I think when you look back at it like that, it's how close we were. You come out of halftime and you have a good drive. That could be a completely different ball game. Ohio State's a great team. They had a lot of great players. But that just puts it into perspective of how close we were. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's time to reflect. What do we need to do better? What do we need to do differently? And that's all of us. That's coaching staff. That's players. How do we need to attack this offseason to where we don't end up in that same situation this upcoming year?
In the middle, in the back.
Alex Byington on 3. Arion was just in here he mentioned that he and the other leaders went to Joey when he first got there and kind of sat him down, and they went over expectations for everybody, really, and what the plan would be moving forward. Can you take us inside that room? I assume you were probably one of the leaders in there talking. What was those first initial conversations like with Joey?
Yeah, like what I was touching on before, as far as Joey's, a very easy guy to get along with. He also knows how to handle his business, and he takes this football thing very seriously. And anyone who cares about this game is going to buy into whatever program they're at. And, we have a leadership meeting every Wednesday morning. This is the standard. If you let that standard walk, you just set a new standard. And we're not doing that here. I know that you're new. I know you may feel like, hey, I need to prove myself, because I was there, last year at this time, coming into Tennessee, being a new guy. So I understand where you're coming from, but you don't have time for that. You don't have time to prove yourself. Like, no, we believe in you. You know, we believe in you and Jake and George to go in there, and we need you to be a competitor, and we need you to be a leader right off the bat. And whatever you see that is not the standard, we need you to call it up to the standard.
Right side, third row, then pass it over your shoulder.
Miles, what are your early impressions of Desan Brame? What have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, you know, Desan's a competitor. Desan's super athletic. You know, all those young freshmen, all those young tight ends are just willing to learn. And I love that how, you know, somebody like Desan, who is a really high recruit, can come into a building and has put his pride to the side and say, no, this isn't high school anymore. I need to improve my game. I need to get better. Who can I pull from? Who can I go and seek knowledge from and seek wisdom from? And I love how anytime I try to help him out, anytime I try to hold him accountable, he's right there willing, you know, to listen to me and take whatever advice I have. Same thing, you know, if Ethan Davis is trying to do with him, you know, it's the same way. And I just love how there's a mutual respect there. Because, you know, you have a lot of guys in today's day and age who are 5 stars and getting, you know, whatever, and they come into a program and they might have a little bit of pride to themselves. And I love how we don't have that on this team.
Right side, fourth row.
Johnny Condon, ABC 3340 Sports in Birmingham. What does the Alabama game mean to you specifically?
Not worried about the Alabama game. You know, we play a really good team week 1. We're worried about fall camp. We're worried about tomorrow's workouts. We're ready to just go attack fall camp in week 1.
On the back row.
We saw glimpses of what Boo Carter could do last year. How excited are you to potentially add him to, you know, the offensive side of the ball as well?
Yeah, Boo has a lot on his plate, you know, stepping up on the defensive side, and we're going to try to do everything we can to put him in a position to help our football team out. I'm really excited.
Left side again.
Do you know much about Syracuse at this point? Have you taken a look at them?
Just kind of like what I said, like, man, I'm focused on tomorrow's workouts. I'm focused on fall camp. You know, I'm focused on what I need to do to get better, and I'm focused on how I can help our team right now.
Right side.
Miles, not a lot is known about you guys wide receivers, I think, nationally, just because you got some young guys ready to step in there. What have you seen from, you know, Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, some of those other young guys that are ready to take on bigger roles outside?
Yeah, I would say the 2 biggest things I've seen from those guys is, you know, last year they always did what they were supposed to do, but that's just your job. And the one thing I love about those guys is not only are they doing what they're supposed to do at a high level, but they're also bringing guys along with them. You know, you got Ra in there, Verdarius, you got Travis Smith, and they're bringing those guys along with them. And I love that because I don't think last year's Braylon Staley and Mike Matthews would have done that as freshmen. And now that they've grown into this leadership role, they're bringing those guys along with them because we're going to need those young guys this fall, and they know that. And I love that.
We have time for one more. Is there one more question? Yes, we'll go in the middle here on the back row.
Not to beat a dead horse, but you talk about coming into a new situation, you're kind of focused on yourself like you were a year ago, Joey. But how weird was this off season with everything that went on with Nico, and just you're coming off the playoff, you would think, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, there'd be a lot more hope and hype right now, and it just doesn't seem that obvious.
You know, we had a group text with a couple of the guys, and whenever some stuff was going around, you know, we all came together and said, hey, man, we want somebody that wants to be here. And, you know, I talked about it earlier. It's next snap, next play. Don't worry about what happened before. And I think that can translate over into life. That can translate over into that situation to where it's, if you don't want to be here, that's fine. We're going to go find somebody who does, and he's going to come in and compete and want to be here. And, man, we didn't skip a beat, and I love it.
Miles, thank you very much. Good job.
Thanks, guys.